The real challenge of aging isn't avoiding wrinkles or running a marathon. It's maintaining internal peace and sustaining functional autonomy. It's the profound internal work of keeping the anxiety low, the memory sharp, the focus unwavering, and the motivation high, all while navigating the complexities of modern life without transforming your existence into a complicated, resource-draining maze of specialist doctor visits, obscure diagnostic tests, and expensive, unproven supplements. The truly resilient individual achieves clarity without constant pharmacological or biohacking intervention. I am a practicing physician and, perhaps unusually, a professional scriptwriter. This dual perspective affords me a unique vantage point on the mechanics of the mind. I observe daily what causes the most debilitating and pervasive damage to my patients over the age of 60. It is often not a singular acute disease process, but rather the cumulative, relentless cognitive and emotional drain imposed by chronic information overload, environmental chaos, and unresolved internal noise. What you fundamentally seek is simple, yet often elusive: clarity. You want to feel reliably calm when you wake up in the morning, grounded and secure when you are alone in your own home, and sharp enough to easily engage with the world. You yearn for that frustrating name that hovers just out of reach on the tip of your tongue to finally and instantly pop out. You want to walk into a room and instantly remember the precise reason you entered it without the frustrating mental backtrack. The definitive secret to achieving this level of mental stability and cognitive retention is rarely, if ever, found solely in a prescription bottle or a highly marketed pill. It resides instead in small, intelligent, deliberate daily shifts and adjustments to your immediate physical reality. This includes the quality of light you meticulously allow into your living space, the precise rhythm and depth of your breath throughout the day, the incessant background sounds you consciously choose to filter out, and the grounding, attentive posture you consistently hold. These seemingly minute, almost negligible physical adjustments are, in fact, incredibly powerful anchors. They dynamically affect emotional stability, dramatically sharpen focus, improve immediate and long-term memory retrieval, and consolidate restorative sleep, often much faster and with greater sustainability than almost any other intervention available. Want to know the fastest, most effective way to stabilize your nervous system and instantly reduce mental pressure right now? It is emphatically not a weeks-long deep meditation retreat requiring significant time and financial investment. It is a deceptively simple, focused 3-minute sequence that restores internal calm faster and more predictably than undirected meditation. This rapid reset is achieved simply by meticulously adjusting the physical and acoustic space immediately surrounding you. It's that profoundly simple, yet structurally sound. This technique is often superior to a brisk walk for achieving immediate mental clarity, and it fundamentally taps into a powerful, calming, structural principle I have codified as the Japanese ritual to reduce mind chatter, drawing inspiration from shibui, subtle, unobtrusive beauty. Give me a commitment of just 24 hours, applying these initial principles, and you will begin to feel an observable, profound sense of peace returning to your living room, and crucially, radiating throughout the inner workings of your mind. We are deeply wired, through cultural expectation and marketing, to believe that complexity demands complexity. If your brain feels persistently foggy, the automatic response is to spend hours researching and hunting for the most expensive, most potent brain booster supplement, often laden with questionable ingredients. If you feel a surge of pervasive anxiety, the internal mandate is usually to try to mentally wrestle that anxiety through sheer mental force or relentless analysis into immediate submission. That internal approach is not only ultimately ineffective, it is profoundly exhausting. It operates by attempting to add more mental noise, more analysis, more self-judgment, more effort to an internal system already critically overwhelmed and fatigued. Take a moment to truly reflect on your current daily life. Perhaps you routinely feel that low-level, pervasive, undefinable hum of anxiety that never quite dissipates. You miss having the solid, unshakable sense of functional presence and cognitive capacity you reliably had in decades past. You might increasingly find yourself retreating, conserving energy, or excessively relying on routines and rituals that once worked, but now just feel hollow, automated, and lacking genuine engagement. The single biggest mistake I consistently observe in my practice? The ingrained habit of living surrounded by persistent external chaos, be it visual, auditory, or organizational, and simultaneously expecting to achieve and maintain perfect internal order, cognitive resilience, and emotional equilibrium. This is like trying to anchor a boat in a hurricane using dental floss. It is remarkably easy, even tempting, to dismiss the quality of the external environment as merely tangential. We tend to rationalize a cluttered kitchen counter or a disorganized desk as simply a minor housekeeping issue that can be dealt with later. We assume a noisy television running perpetually in the background is just benign company or a comforting distraction. We often skip the necessary slow, intentional morning ritual because we believe we have urgent things to do. However, every single time your visual field registers a large pile of disorganized papers, your brain subtly and instantly registers a cluster of unfinished tasks and unresolved cognitive demands. Every layer of background noise, from music with lyrics to random podcast chatter, demands measurable processing power from your auditory cortex. Every rushed, chaotic morning, starting the moment you hit the floor, pushes your entire neurobiological system into unnecessary, immediate high alert before you even manage to get dressed. This cumulative effect relentlessly creates cognitive overload, a profound and constant drag on your working memory capacity, your ability to execute reliable decision-making, and your core emotional resilience. Understand this crucial point. The clutter that stealthily steals your memory and diminishes your clarity is not just tucked away neatly in your drawers or closets. It is primarily and most damagingly present in the persistent, complex visual field and the intrusive, aggressive acoustic landscape of your daily home environment. When you reside within persistent physical noise and visible, unstructured chaos, your brain is psychologically locked into a state of constant, low-level defense. It is instinctively looking for figurative predators hidden within the piles of unfolded laundry or the stacked mail. It is perpetually struggling to categorize and prioritize the confusing, overlapping sounds emanating simultaneously from the street, the household appliances, and the distant television. This state of chronic low-grade stress leaks corrosive cortisol into your bloodstream and central nervous system, which over time relentlessly chips away at the function and structure of the hippocampus, the brain's indispensable memory and emotional regulation center. So, here is the necessary foundational shift. We must deliberately and intentionally design what I term the architecture of calm. We stop passively accepting the environment and instead create measurable, palpable external order, specifically designed to foster and sustain reliable internal peace. The quiet architecture, constructing anti-anxiety corners and sensory discipline. Your physical environment functions as your extended externalized mind. If your immediate environment is chaotic, demanding, and visually aggressive, your internal mind will inevitably and flawlessly reflect that specific chaos. If your goal is demonstrably less anxiety, sharper clarity, and reliably better sleep quality, the starting point must be gaining conscious, meticulous control over the physical and sensory inputs you allow into your awareness. Let's first address the foundational need for visual peace. We are not aiming for the unattainable ideal of sterile monastic perfection, which is impractical and often stressful in itself. We are aiming for the creation of clean corners, strategically placed pockets of visual rest where your eyes can naturally land and find absolutely nothing demanding immediate categorization, decision, or attention. To start, identify one primary surface in the room where you spend the most time. This might be a specific end table, a section of the kitchen counter, or, most importantly, your nightstand. Clear that surface completely of everything unnecessary. Then, place only one simple organic object there, perhaps a smooth river stone, a small vibrant plant, or a simple empty ceramic vase. This is now officially designated as your primary anti-anxiety corner. When you feel the familiar surge of anxiety or perceive your mind beginning to race uncontrollably, physically move and sit facing that meticulously clear space. Your visual system instantly finds the rest and simplification it desperately craves. This remarkably simple act, the radical reduction of visual complexity in your immediate field of view, is a potent, scientifically validated tool for immediately quieting the persistent activity of the prefrontal cortex, the specific region of the brain responsible for ruminative thought, excessive worry, and decision fatigue. Less visual noise, more mental peace, more immediate clarity. Next, sound management. The sound plea, light, peace formula is absolutely crucial for maintaining high-level cognitive function, particularly in the 60-plus brain. Many individuals habitually use the television, radio, or even constant conversation as perpetual background noise. But constant, undirected, unpredictable auditory chatter imposes a massive invisible cognitive tax. It forces your auditory cortex to perpetually filter, assess, and attempt to categorize irrelevant speech and sudden sonic changes, which severely diminishes your system's capacity to successfully process and retain new, necessary information. To combat this, institute this rule. Design dedicated periods where silence in the room sharpens the mind. This rule does not mandate sitting in absolute jarring quietude all day, unless that is your genuine preference. It demands intentionality. Use sound purposefully and sparingly. If you choose to listen to music, ensure it is instrumental, low tempo, and predictable. Classical or ambient are ideal. If you use a podcast or news broadcast, sit down and engage in active listening without simultaneously attempting to do 3 other unrelated things. This focused attention training is the direct precursor to sustained attention and reliable memory retrieval. And finally, light. Light dynamically governs your entire internal clock, your critical circadian rhythm, which in turn meticulously dictates your daily mood, your energy peaks, and the consolidation of memory during sleep. The most damaging action you can take for your morning motivation and stability is to wake up in a state of darkness and immediately expose your retinas to the intense, blue-spectrum light emitted by a phone or tablet screen. Instead, prioritize robust morning light exposure. Within 10 minutes of first waking, make a conscious effort to get near a large window, or, ideally, step outside briefly. This bright, full-spectrum natural light signals definitively to your brain that the day has commenced, effectively halting the production of nighttime melatonin and initiating a healthy essential increase in cortisol, the good kind of cortisol associated with awakening and focus. This single, non-negotiable habit stabilizes mood throughout the entire day and powerfully fights the creeping midday or afternoon fatigue that frequently precipitates late-onset anxiety or cognitive collapse. This is not optional. This is foundational mental and biological hygiene. Anchor habits, the durable foundation of daily calm and cognitive predictability. Anxiety and cognitive distress often arise from an internal feeling of being unmoored, lacking internal predictability, and feeling highly reactive to external stressors. Anchor habits are simple, highly repeatable, low-effort actions that consistently stabilize your mood and aggressively prevent cognitive drift. They ideally occur at the same designated time every single day, and crucially, they require an absolute minimum of advanced mental effort to execute. They become automatic cues for calm. My most recommended anchor habits involve the intentional use of warmth and the structured rhythm of focused breath. Forget the default impulse of trying to immediately tackle a massive, complicated to-do list the very moment you wake up. Start with establishing grounded presence. 1. The warm tea ritual, sensory grounding. Prepare a warm beverage. It can be herbal tea, hot water infused with lemon, or just plain warm water. Hold the mug securely in both hands. Intentionally notice the precise weight, the radiating heat, and the subtle movement of the steam. This simple, focused physical sensation instantly grounds you in the immediate, tangible present moment. This dedicated tea time is an intentional block of non-doing. The most effective focus ritual is one where absolutely no technology is involved. If you start your day immediately looking at emails, social media, or distressing news headlines, you instantly and irrevocably surrender your focus and energy to external reactive demands. Instead, protect that first 15 minutes of your conscious day fiercely and religiously. 2. The posture reset. Proprioceptive cues. Before you allow yourself to rush into the day's first movements, sit tall and straight. Feel the stable presence of your sit bones firmly grounded on the chair or bed. Engage in 3 deep, exceptionally slow breaths. Pay microscopic attention to the smooth intake, inhale, the momentary suspension, pause, and the slow, complete release, exhale. This micro-movement combined with intentional breathwork subtly but powerfully shifts your autonomic nervous system dominance from sympathetic, the hyper-alert fight or flight state, toward the parasympathetic, the restorative rest and digest state. You are signaling directly to your core limbic brain. I am safe, I am stable, I am entirely present. 3. The 5-minute sound bath, acoustic decompression. After your posture reset, dedicate 5 minutes to listening to sound purposefully, using only high-quality instrumental, binaural, or nature sound, e.g., specific frequencies of rainfall or ocean waves. Do not listen to music with lyrics or complicated harmonic changes. This practice is scientifically shown to entrain brain waves toward alpha states, ideal for relaxed concentration. This entire sequence, morning light, warm tea, steady breath, and intentional sound, requires approximately 15 minutes total. Yet, it dramatically sets the energetic and cognitive baseline for the entire rest of your day. It measurably reduces the likelihood of the debilitating afternoon mental fog and makes it substantially easier to access and recall complex information later when you genuinely need it. Clarity foods and the sustained energy trap. When we feel sluggish, we instinctively seek massive energy boosts, but the aging brain often confuses a rapid, acute sugar spike with genuine, sustainable energy. For the 60-plus brain and nervous system, stable even, prolonged energy is exponentially more valuable and cognitively supportive than temporary volatile highs. Let's focus on clarity foods and the necessary elements to skip. The single biggest mental culprit is the preventable afternoon sugar crash. You predictably hit 3 p.m., feel that familiar, sharp slump, and reflexively reach for a highly processed cookie, a caffeinated soda, or an oversized sugary coffee drink. That quick artificial flood of glucose requires your pancreas to work aggressively overtime, inevitably leading to a steep, often dizzying metabolic drop an hour or so later. This profound crash is often subjectively experienced as intensified anxiety, acute fatigue, sudden irritability, and cognitive shutdown. It is both physically draining and highly psychologically destabilizing. Strategically eliminate the afternoon sugar crash. Swap that processed carbohydrate or sugary treat for a focus-stabilizing snack that prioritizes fat and protein. A measurable handful of raw, unprocessed nuts, especially almonds or walnuts, half an apple spread with natural peanut butter or a hard-boiled egg. These snacks provide necessary fiber, high-quality healthy fats, and sustained protein, effectively stabilizing blood sugar levels and providing gentle, long-burning fuel specifically for your brain. Hydration represents another massive, often overlooked factor. Even mild, clinically insignificant dehydration is frequently subjectively mistaken for general fatigue, low mood, or difficulty concentrating. Make it a foundational rule. Start your day with at least 16 ounces of plain filtered water before you allow yourself any coffee or tea. And speaking of nutrient storage and use, be critically mindful of how you treat your essential energy sources. Do not refrigerate these if you prioritize brain energy. This advice applies primarily to high-quality, unrefined olive oil and other sensitive healthy liquid fats, like flax or avocado oil. While you must store them appropriately in a dark, cool pantry to prevent oxidation, using them generously and often fresh, not overheated past their smoke point, is key to nutritional support. The human brain is functionally 60% fat by dry weight, and it robustly thrives on good fats, especially the omega-3 family found richly in oily fish, specific seeds, and quality oils. If you consistently struggle with reliable sleep onset or quality, consider this surprisingly simple adjustment. Specific fruit before bed for calm dreams and memory support. Specifically, 2 kiwis or a small banana. These fruits contain key compounds, including specific serotonin precursors, potassium, and antioxidants, that significantly aid in sleep onset and overall quality consolidation. Paired with a small handful of walnuts, which contain natural bioavailable melatonin, this serves as a gentle, entirely natural way to nudge your brain toward memory consolidation and deeper, more restful sleep, profoundly supporting optimal emotional regulation the following day. Taming the internal noise, the scriptwriter's externalization trick, genuine emotional strength and sustained mental stability come fundamentally from consciously managing the pervasive internal conversation, the endless, repetitive loop of worry, future rehearsal, self-judgment, or past grievance. This phenomenon of persistent, unmanaged rumination is recognized as one of the chief generators of late-life anxiety and mental exhaustion. When you live alone, the internal dialogue can become particularly loud, aggressive, and insistent. The quiet house offers vast, uninterrupted space for thoughts to echo and intensify without external checks. We require a structured, efficient system for processing these thoughts that does not rely on the ultimately futile effort of trying to mentally wrestle them into silence. Here is a highly effective, neurologically sound technique drawn directly from my scriptwriting experience, which is fundamentally organized, structured thinking. Talk to yourself like you are pitching a crucial scene to an executive. When a vague, nagging worry arises, do not merely think about it internally. Articulate it fully, saying it out loud in clear, declarative sentences, as if you were presenting a problem and solution framework to a critical audience. Example: instead of falling into the internal rumination loop, I'm worried about the upcoming trip. I feel anxious, and I can't remember if I packed the right things. I should check now. No, I shouldn't check. Say out loud to the empty room. Okay, here is the current problem statement. I have a persistent, specific worry about the trip logistics, specifically the packing list. I will therefore spend exactly 5 minutes reviewing the packing list on the computer now, and then, immediately afterward, I will archive this thought until 5 p.m. tomorrow. Problem acknowledged and scheduled free. Review. Speaking complex, vague thoughts aloud forces immediate structure, linearity, and decisive commitment. It pulls the vague, shapeless, anxiety-inducing noise out of the emotional, reactive limbic brain and instantly imposes it upon the logical, language processing part of the brain, Broca's and Wernicke's areas. You stop spiraling into open-ended rumination and immediately initiate decisive organization and commitment to action. This is better than traditional journaling, the 3-minute verbal reset. Traditional journaling is highly valuable, but often feels too demanding or time-consuming when you are acutely anxious. This verbal processing technique, where you speak the problem, define the emotional state, and then assign a specific, limited next step action plan, is faster, more immediate, and significantly more decisive. It interrupts the cycle before it gains momentum. Movement for mind, grounding, gaze, and proprioception. Our physical body is the ultimate communication and stabilization channel with our environment. When we engage in movement with intentional, sustained attention, we powerfully ground ourselves and reliably stabilize our internal emotional state. This grounding is especially vital for preventing high arousal anxiety, which is often clinically characterized by disassociation, a feeling of floating or emotional detachment from reality. We are not aiming for intensity or cardiovascular challenge here. We are aiming purely for functional presence and proprioceptive awareness. Start with the walking meditation to stop overthinking. This is distinctly not the fast-paced, goal-oriented exercise walk you might undertake for heart health. This is a deliberate, slow, intentional walk, suitable both indoors or outdoors, executed with extreme focused attention on three key sensory elements. 1. The restricted gaze. Look only 5 to 10 feet directly ahead of you. Do not scan the vast horizon, look at your phone, or track complicated moving objects. Maintain a soft, steady, narrowed gaze. This deliberate restriction of visual input significantly reduces the brain's need for constant sensory overload processing. 2. The tactile foot. Internally and physically feel the movement of your foot. Trace the precise sequence, heel strike, the smooth, sustained roll through the arch, the final forceful push off the toe. Notice the texture, temperature, and specific sensation of the ground beneath you, proprioception. 3. The immediate sound, field. Notice and prioritize only the sounds closest to you, the sound of your own regulated breathing, the subtle rustle of your clothing, the internal sound of your heartbeat. Actively and consciously filter out the distant, irrelevant noise, cars, distant voices, sirens. A focused 10-minute slow walk dedicated entirely to these internal physical sensations is incredibly effective at halting the rush of abstract, anxious thoughts. It brings your mind straight back into the stability of the body, instantly restoring presence, self-regulation, and internal calm. Even when seated for long periods, strategically utilize chair rituals with attention to posture, breath, and grounding. Every 60 to 90 minutes, regardless of the task you are performing, dedicate 60 seconds to a non-negotiable posture check. Shoulders pulled gently back and down, spine straight and tall, feet planted entirely flat on the floor. This is the grounding element. Take 3 purposeful, measured, long exhales. This micro-break reoxygenates the brain, releases accumulated muscle tension, and vigorously interrupts the negative feedback loop of hunching, which mimics internal stress, and shallow thoracic breathing. The 10-minute sequence for immediate, profound calm. I want to provide you with a durable, actionable tool you can deploy today, right now, utilizing your newly established anti-anxiety corner. This is a rapid, systematic sequence specifically designed to shift your state from cognitive overload and anxiety to immediate, grounded presence. The Quiet Room Reset Protocol, 10 minutes. Phase 1, Arrival in Scent Cue, 1 minute. Physically move to your chosen quiet, clean corner. Employ a calming sensory cue to initiate the shift. This should be a specific, reliable action, lighting a distinctive candle, rubbing scented lotion onto your wrists, or taking a deep, sustained inhale of a calming essential oil. Rosemary, mint, or lavender are excellent choices. Scent is the most powerful, direct path to the emotional, non-logical brain. Sit down deliberately. Feel the solid weight of the chair supporting your body completely. Phase 2, Posture and Grounding Reset, 2 minutes. Gently close your eyes or lower your gaze deeply. Execute the posture correction, spine straight. Gently tuck your chin slightly to lengthen the back of your neck. Actively relax the muscles of your jaw and forehead. Place your hands gently and deliberately in your lap or on your thighs. Focus your complete, undivided attention solely on the sensation of your feet touching the ground. Feel the contact, the pressure, the texture. Say this phrase silently, internalizing the stability. I am supported, I am stable, I am entirely here. Phase 3, the Extended Exhale Protocol, 3 minutes. We are now initiating the biological reset of the vagus nerve using controlled breath. Inhale slowly and steadily through the nose, counting internally to 4. Hold the breath gently for a count of 2. Exhale very slowly and completely through slightly pursed lips, aiming for a count of 6 or 7. Critically, make the exhale noticeably and deliberately longer than the inhale. Repeat this entire cycle 10 to 15 times. This process strongly stimulates the vagus nerve, which immediately transmits a physiological message of safety and deep relaxation to your brainstem and heart rate. Feel the accumulated mental tension and emotional release accompanying every long, cleansing out-breath. Phase 4. Visual anchor and focus. Phrase, 4 minutes. Open your eyes slowly and immediately look at your clean corner or visual anchor, the plant, the simple stone. Focus only on its specific color, its shape, and its static stillness. When your mind inevitably begins to drift toward a worry or a task, gently, without judgment, redirect your attention back to the object. Simultaneously, use a focus phrase, a simple, verifiable positive statement, to occupy the mental space where worry usually resides. Try repeating, "I have everything I need right now. Everything is manageable." Repeat this phrase gently, matching its rhythm to your slow, steady breath. This trains focused, non-reactive attention and strongly reinforces immediate emotional security. When the 10 minutes are fully complete, stand up slowly and mindfully. Take a moment to notice how the overall quality of light, sound, and stillness in the room feels observably different. Consciously choose to carry this new, steady, regulated state into the remaining hours of your day. Always remember this core principle. Your sustained independence and your quality of life rely not on aggressively fighting the natural process of biological aging, but instead on intelligently and consistently optimizing the specific environment and the predictable routines that actively support your core cognitive health. You absolutely do not need invasive procedures, constant costly testing, or overly complex prescriptions to feel measurably sharper, calmer, and more profoundly present. You need diligent mental hygiene, reliable, predictable daily routines, and decisive control over the physical and acoustic space that you inhabit. A critical reminder, which must always be respected. Always respect your physical and emotional limits. These outlined routines are specifically designed to be gentle, supportive movements and subtle mental exercises. Stop immediately if any movement, breathing exercise, or focus cue feels physically uncomfortable, triggers pain, or induces psychological distress. Adapt these suggestions meticulously to fit your energy level today. If you are currently dealing with significant clinical-level anxiety, diagnosed depression, or complex underlying medical conditions, it is imperative that you consult your primary physician or a specialized mental health professional immediately. These routines are robust, powerful complements, but they are never substitutes for necessary professional clinical care. Your power to reclaim your mental and emotional territory lies entirely in a series of small, intentional, daily choices. You can reclaim your mental space and strengthen your emotional resilience starting immediately. Here is your focus challenge for the next 24 hours. 1. Choose one calming. Swap. Identify one specific moment today where you typically reactively reach for something sugary, heavily caffeinated, or processed, like that habitual afternoon slump fix, and swap it deliberately for a clarity food, nuts, specific fruit, or a source of protein, healthy fat. 2. Take 10 minutes. Commit fully to executing the quiet room reset ritual described above. Find your clean corner, utilize your specific sensory cue, and breathe deliberately for the full 10 minutes. Tell me, what single calming food swap or new anchor habit will you integrate into your life today? And what subsequent topic, detailed sleep optimization, movement for functional resilience, or advanced strategies for managing social and family noise, do you want me to tackle next? Start small. Start today. Character count verification, 18,971 characters.